because I see a lot on Instagram. You and your wife, Sophia, make a wonderful couple. I've seen a lot of photo opportunities out there. But I think Pittsburgh would like to know more about her relationship with Pittsburgh sports because you are so passionate about it. Give us a backstory how you met and how sports plays a role now, because I know she's been to Pittsburgh.
She's been in Pittsburgh, yeah. Her first time in Pittsburgh was for the Ravens playoff game against the Steelers. And she's, I guess, you know, she's just the typical Pittsburgh sports wife who's not from Pittsburgh. So, you know, when you're born into Pittsburgh sports, it's religion-like. And, you know, she just puts up with it the way that any wife would. I mean, she knows how much it means to me. And, you know, she's supportive.
Does she understand Steelers Nation? Does she get it?
She understands the fanaticism. Yeah, I think she gets how much we care. She knows that, you know, I think the one thing that she would say is she knows that if anybody ever said anything bad about Pittsburgh around a Pittsburgher, it'd be big trouble. So she understands the level to which, you know, we care and we have pride about our city and our teams.
I want to get back to sports real quick because I know you have thoughts about this, and I happen to be bullish about the Steelers coming back this year. I realize there's a lot going into whether or not they play, but if they do play with a healthy Ben Roethlisberger, you know, you've been down there with that, there'll be no fans, of course, but this team with that defense, 10 of 11 starters come back, and him at quarterback, I think that could be a team that people in the AFC have to deal with, even with Patrick Mahomes there. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I think that's the real test. But the fact that we're talking about how they're going to stack up against the Super Bowl champs, I think it speaks well for us. With that defense and the way that they gelled at the end of the season, it makes me very optimistic. Yeah, with a healthy Ben and, you know, and with that defense, I mean, you know, would Ben's presence have given us 2 more wins last year? I think so. I think people want to jump on the Ravens bandwagon, but even without Ben, we handled them last year. I think it's about who's going to compete with the Chiefs, and I think that because of the Steelers' defense and the return of Ben, yeah, I think if everything goes well, yes, I think things could bode well for us.
Do you have a favorite game or favorite sports memory of any Pittsburgh sport?
Well, I was at Super Bowl 43. So, you know, I mean, come on. That was, and now that I have some distance from it, yes, it was a great game. At the time, I was like, that's not a great game. A great game is 50-0, so I can hang out and, you know, eat food and, you know, get up out of my seat and not have, you know, sweat stains under my armpits. But, you know, to have been at that game, which is arguably the best Super Bowl ever played and the greatest back and forth, and, you know, certainly two of the top 5 Super Bowl plays of all time. Harrison's interception return and Santonio Holmes' catch in the back of the end zone. Like, that game was unbelievable. And also in Tampa, we're playing against the Cardinals, who didn't have the type of traveling fan base that we did. So it was like 95% to Steelers to 5% Arizona. So it felt like the whole city of Pittsburgh just drove to Tampa or flew to Tampa and hung out for the whole weekend, even though they didn't have tickets or hotel rooms. It was crazy. So that was an amazing memory to be there and amongst that, and then go to the Steelers after party afterwards and get to hang out with Hines Ward and Troy.
All right, Joe, when we come back, we're going to put you to the test. You guys have found out about Joe the actor, Joe the sports fan. There's more to Joe Manganiello. We're going to find out when we put him to the test to pick a side. That's next here on Living Room Sports.